Greatest Media Production presents the Welcome to the Jungle 8, the front 9 of round 2. Today we're going to be at Meadowbrook Orchards, not Coggshall Disc Golf Course. I'm Kyle Moriarty, joined by Harry Chace again. Hello, Harry.
How's it going, Kyle? Excited to be back for round number 2 from Meadowbrook Orchards, quickly becoming one of Massachusetts' most famous courses. Doubles as an orchard as well, as we see the inside here. And a look at our tourney sponsors: Discmania, 978, Rad Disc Golf, East Coast Metal Roofing, Disc Golf Bra and Amplified Insurance Partners. Thank you all. Thank you for making this tournament great. And what do we have today, Wads?
Yeah, so Meadowbrook's going to be a very different style of course, so you're going to see a lot of different shots here. We're going to be joined by you, Harry Chace, sitting at 10 down, Derek Desentz at 7 down, Nick Economos at 6 down, and Dylan Capaccioli also at 6 down. You came out with a 10:53 hot first round. How are you feeling going into this round?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, Cog is one of those courses where the strokes are going to be good, and if you can get to a number like 10, you can really separate yourself from the field. And I'm not really thinking too much about the lead and just trying to go out and play a good round.
Yeah, and that's a great mentality to have. Not set too kind of crazy of an expectation and just go in. You can see it's 60 degrees out, and it is definitely windy here. You can see Bob wearing a sweatshirt and a heated jacket. It's cold. It feels a lot cooler than 60. I kind of question that, and I think we'll see what happens to the players here. All right, hole 1. Break it down for me, Harry.
Yeah, so it's 503 feet. Par 4, but plays honestly more like a pro par 3. We see the drone taking around the OB, but I think most players are going to be shooting right over the OB. And on this arm, a lot of us are trying to be getting that Eagle 2. Obviously, the OB is in play on the right side. You're kind of afraid of turning it over, so it's hard to crush one, but just got to put away the nerves on the first hole and attack it as much as you can.
What are you reaching for here? Are we going like big time, or is this going for just, a pretty safe play?
Yeah, so I got an S-Line DD3 here, and the wind was pretty favorable if I remember, so I was just trying to put it high in the air and really going for it here.
It's a perfect color for the sky. It's kind of tough to see. There it is.
Yeah,
Wow.
as we see, tailwind, a bit of right to left, so actually stabled it up a lot. And obviously with that OB on the right, didn't want to commit to the turnover and end up with a par. That's kind of worst case scenario here. As we get our first look at Derek Desentz, 984 rated, and still pretty new to the game.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him. I've actually never played with him. I've never really seen the name, but getting a 984 rating, he must be playing a lot. Must be staying mostly New Hampshire.
Yeah, I my first time playing with him too. Apparently doesn't play too many tournaments, but we are excited to have him here today. And if you've seen Nick Economos throw before, you know he is attacking this pin. One of the first throwers we've ever seen.
Yeah, I've played with a lot of players, just as you have, Harry, and I can't really list a handful of players that can throw further than Nick on just a pure hyzer. He is an absolute talent. He is probably one of the furthest throwers of the discs on just a hyzer I think I've ever seen. And I've played with players like Double G and Big Germ and any of those distance throwers, really.
Yeah, but we've got Dylan back again on coverage. He's ripping on a Halo Boss, and he's got really good distance. Not quite Nick level, but he's going to put it up there. Should be a pretty easy birdie from there.
Yeah, what I love seeing from Dylan is throwing that backhand right out the gate. We've talked about how he's such a forehand dominant player, so for him to really start trusting that backhand really shows his growth as a player. So I love seeing that. And that's Derek with a nice simple upshot. Didn't ever give it a bid, but is having that tap in birdie. This is, like you said, this is a must get. You have to 3 this hole, even when the wind is up.
Yep, for sure. And there's no layup in Dylan's game. He's going to give that a solid bid. And just for me, I'm not quite the same, and content to take my 3.
Yeah. The 3 here truly is what you have to get.
It's Nick, the closest one of us all. Leaves a little short. He was putting right into a headwind, so like you said, you have to get that 3. It's hard to trust it and give it up. You don't want to sail super far, especially with Nick's spin putt. As we see, Dylan is going to collect that birdie, and we're going to have a star frame on hole 1.
Very nice. That's good. The average for hole 1 is 3.33. So most of the field is getting that 3. So you really, truly are losing strokes with getting a par.
Absolutely. Yep. And I kind of think that hole 1 is kind of a wash unless you do get that 2. And hole 2 is where this course is really going to start for our pros.
Yes. Yeah, this Meadowbrook definitely has teeth. Hole 1, not as much unless the wind is doing something crazy. Break down hole 2, please.
Yeah, hole 2 is par 3, 405. Honestly, plays a little bit longer. We're going to be playing right into a headwind today. There's OB River right here. Shouldn't be too much of an issue for our big arms. And of course, this is such a signature basket placement on top of these boxes. Pretty high up there. It's going to be a tough feature with the swirling wind.
Yeah, looking at this hole with that headwind, I know you don't play here too much. How many practice rounds have you gotten here at Meadowbrook?
So I have 2 tournament rounds here and 1 practice round, and that was on Thursday. So I played a tournament last year blind, and just 1 practice round other than that. So not too much work, but enough to know the course.
Now, that was a great shot, putting it a little bit deep, not worrying about that river OB, which really, like you said, should not come into play for the MPO field. Great height, just getting over these apple trees. Look at them start to bloom. And you stick inbounds outside the circle. I can't wait to see what you do for the putt. Don't spoil it for me. That's that range where, like, you sit there and you're like, do I lay this up? Do I go for it? I can't wait to see.
Yep, we'll see here as Derek ripping here, and he's actually playing this course for the first time blind. So he's asking us about a lot of these shots and is excited for what's coming up next. But he's going to leak it left, but that's a great miss with that OB the whole way.
Yeah. See, Nick is throwing a Glow Omen, which is one of the most overstable discs you can find. It's basically like a tilt that's a little bit usable, speed 9 from Thought Space Athletics, and he just throws pure hyzer and puts it just outside the circle. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. And here's Dylan going forehand, as we mentioned. Certainly the scarier line, and just, almost throws it perfectly, and he's going to stay safe over that. But that's straight into a headwind, Wads, and
yeah,
he was going to get there on hyzer. It's insane.
It makes sense. Dylan does things that nobody really does. He probably does have one of the most elite forehands in disc golf right now. But like you saw, going that forehand line, you bring in trees and that wood line into your play, whereas just going that backhand hyzer, you've got nothing to really worry about in the way as like the airspace for the shot unless you throw it too low. All right, here you go. Looks like you're giving it a little step. You're feeling it. I think you're going to go for this.
Tried to, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to appreciate the effort. And then, we'll see how the wind's doing when you're stepping up. Nick went for it too.
Yeah, it's hard to see with those kind of stiff, dormant trees right there, but the wind is blowing. You can even see Nick's beautiful hair.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's tough. You see those chains moving, and these are not easy putts, especially when you are putting as high up as this basket is.
Yeah, you're putting into an elevated basket. Right now, Dylan was putting with that tailwind, and your comebacks here, you're going to be having a headwind, so you already have to elevate the disc into that wind. And, I mean, this is an easy recipe for a big number on the putting green. And I don't want to talk about too much, but I definitely did some 3-putting on this hole during the tournament. There's the mistake.
Yep, obviously, in hindsight, you wish you laid that up now, but that's still a putt that I feel like confident I'm going to make most of the time. But yeah, it's going to be a blemish on the scorecard, and we have Dylan, who also fell victim to that, running his putt from deep. He's going to tap in his bogey, and Honestly, part of the reason why I didn't really feel like laying up is this putt is still difficult from right here.
The only really good layup on this hole is if you can get it onto the apple crates. If you can hit it there, your shot's easy. Where Derek is right here, like this is one of the trickier ones because the angle he's at, it's so tough, especially with this wind.
Yeah, he's going to do a few different things. And yeah, that hurt to watch again. That's tough. I mean, it's just one of those things where I'm sure he's hardly ever practiced that, but where he's going in right there is into the headwind, and to just putt it that nose up on a normal putt is just so uncomfortable and probably wouldn't have stuck regardless. So it was probably the right move to do that, but just leaked it left.
Yeah, that's a tough spit out, and it's not really the basket's fault, but we're done with hole 2. We're on hole 3 now. Probably one of the best wooded holes here. Break it down.
Absolutely. 350 tunnel shot right here. The gap is going to be on the right, and it's okay if you end up a little right of the hole. I think that's probably the pure line. But yeah, welcome back to Woods Golf on GMT. And for the next few holes, we're going to see some really awesome wooded lines here.
Yeah, I think hole 3 just lets the player throw this pure line where you can go straight at the basket, or you can work that kind of slide through this tree line to the right side. Nick elevates his rock, I bet, and it seems to keep filtering. He's going to have a long putt.
Yeah, he's going to be in range. You heard him on the tee pad just saying, throw it higher. Obviously joking. But yeah, if he had just kept that a little bit more penetrating, would have been perfect.
What are you reaching for here?
It's a Color Glow FD. Threw a few times at Cogs too, and leak it left, but it stays pure the whole way. We're going to get a little replay from Catch Cam here.
Oh, I love this angle. You can see exactly what you fly through, what trees you're missing. Oh, that was gorgeous, Harry.
Yeah, one of those things where maybe I didn't hit the gap perfectly, but the shot shape and speed was correct, and I'm rewarded with a circle putt for it.
Do you know what Derek's throwing here?
I don't remember, but he was forcing that same disc over a lot. It might come to me later, but
okay.
He really likes to throw high-speed discs and attack an overstable disc. You'll see him go to a subtle flex line a lot, and Dylan here is a Big Z Raptor, and just not as fortunate to get through. He should be able to scramble from there.
Yeah, and this is another hole where I'm not trying to pick on Dylan here, but there's so much space on that backhand side where you can kind of flex off to the right. If you go with that flex on that righty forehand line, you bring in the trees and the woods into play a lot more. So, I'd love to see Dylan go to the backhand here. Not that his forehand's not good enough to reach it, but there's space in that backhand line.
For sure. Yeah, that's great insight. And we're now going to see Nick putting with a steady. Oh, that was a great line, just a little bit low. And yeah, he's obviously, this hole is not one of the easiest ones, not one you absolutely need to get, but I know he's trying to get it.
Yeah, this is a feel-good hole right here. This hole comes in with an average of a 3, so it is averaging par.
Wow.
So you gained a true stroke on the field right there.
That's certainly surprising, honestly, with how bad that rough is and the gap is early. I would have thought it averaged over par. So
there were eight birdies on this hole.
We got Derek here cleaning up. And he's got a really great putt. He's super direct right at the basket, flat release too, and very repeatable.
Yep, that is definitely what you want when you putt, something that you can repeat over and over again. Create that rhythm. Hey, Nick. Good to see you, buddy. All right, that's an awesome hole 3 here. That's going to take us to the very fun hole 4. How we attack this?
Yeah, so we got 297. plays a little bit different with how left this shot goes. And there's two different gaps here. We're going to see the drone fly through what people would call the outside gap. There's also an inside gap, which is a bit skinnier, but a bit more direct. And we're going to see these players play these a little differently. I believe I have the box here, and I like that outside gap, going with a Neo method, and just trying to swing it out of the way and just have the glide of the disc carry me left.
Yeah, you gave it a great height out of the box, letting it kind of pull over to that left side. It didn't spike down, so you kept it up in the air and let that disc do the work.
Nick catches something early, but continues to fight, and he's going to be just outside the circle with a good look at birdie.
Yeah, he was throwing his star AVR 3 there.
Derek, we were talking about the different gaps, and I think he tried to go the inside, but goes outside, follows my line, same disc actually, and puts it just as close.
That's the result you want to see after a little bit of a shakiness. Dylan pure in this right here, almost hits the pin. Do you know what he threw there?
Yeah, that's a Metal Flake MD3, one of the new Discmania made ones, and here's that different line. He's trying to go the inside here for sure.
Nice.
And hits it perfectly. Both are viable options. Really just kind of depends on what kind of shot you like to throw, and he's gonna be happy with that.
Yep. And now that we're in the woods here, the wind is definitely not as much of a factor here on your putts. So this is where you really need to be making some moves, make your putts count. Unfortunately, Nick is low on the mark here again. Nice birdie from you. That is now 2 in a row. You have completely erased that bogey on hole 2.
Yep, that's part of the reason why I felt pretty good attacking that. Is I know a lot of these holes out here are gettable, and if I can go on a run, get a bunch of birdies, and keep attacking, I know my score is going to be good. And we see Dylan and Derek even be closer than me. 3 birdies here is pretty good.
Yeah, that's a very good card, and you know that kind of score right there. And this is definitely one of the easiest holes. This is a hole you step up and you go, yeah, we should be tooling it. Averaged 2.8, so just under par. Nick's waving again. What a guy. He's so friendly. Okay, speaking of must-get twos, hole 5. What do you think?
Yeah, we got a par 3 here, 245. Pretty much as dead straight as it gets. Most of the players are going to be reaching for a backhand here. And a few different ways to play. You can go straight at it, or a popular play is to play it right of that big tree on the right. A bit more of a cleaner turnover line and can still get you pretty close. So that's where I'll be going on this hole.
Yeah, this is a great hole. You can attack it in so many different ways. It really lets the player open up to what they're comfortable with. I see you're reaching for your glow P2 here. This is your bread and butter.
Yep. Feels like we're just back at Cogs and just throwing that disc straight, and that's exactly what I want to do here is put it right to that tree so I have no chance of that tree stopping me and leaving me outside the circle, and putting it to a putt I know I can make, and that's just a stock shot right there.
I even think Dylan whispered to Derek there, he's like, yeah, he's going to put this right outside the wood chips. I saw him whispering sweet nothings into his ear. It's like Derek's throwing an Envy here. Looks like those the James Conrad colors. Gets a kind of a tougher kick, but there's enough space into the woods here where you can scramble.
Yep, we got Dylan with the praxis here, and following my line and putting it closer. That's a great shot for Dylan.
Very nice. Nick's reaching for his AVR 3 again. He puts it out into that open fairway. Checks up right before the OB. He's putting, folks.
Yeah, it's tough with that OB back there. It kind of forces you to not super commit to this shot, even though you have to. So it's really good speed control at the end for Nick. helping obviously by that tree, but he's going to be loving that.
Ooh, that looked like a nice spicy bid from downtown there.
Nick has to go to a straddle stance here, but for those last 2 low putts, this is going to put it in, and I'll get a little bit of it going for Nick.
Attaboy, Nick. That's what you want right there. Straddle putt typically is not a player's, go-to putting style, but I really think here in New England especially, you have to be able to have a competent straddle putt.
Oh, for sure. It used to be one of those things that I dreaded, but you have to practice it, especially with how tight these greens can get. It's another birdie for me.
That's a nice cleanup.
On, and Dylan putting it super close. Doesn't even have to think about it.
Yeah, you just got 3 in a row there. So you're feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, those wooded lines were feeling good yesterday, and these holes are honestly really reminiscent of those Cogs lines. So
yeah. Well, speaking of Cogs in a jungle, we're on hole 6. Talk it through me.
Sure, 276, and it plays that way. Pretty low ceiling because of that hanging branch, and you're probably just going to grab your straightest disc you can find and throw it at the basket. I'm taking my P2, and although it may leave me a little bit short most of the time, I know I can hit that gap and get into the circle with it more times than not. So just trying to commit to this gap.
What I truly love about this hole, and I have not seen this coverage yet, as you just pure it. And come on, you said you're going to be a little short. That is pinned. But what I love about this hole is you can see there's branches hanging out, creating a false ceiling on this hole. That it's kind of there, but it's not really there, but it's definitely there.
No, it's definitely there. I think we're going to see everybody go under it and play it as a low ceiling shot, as Nick finds that. But as you can see, I mean, there's more down the fairway as he hits up there. But I mean, if you just look at this hole, it does not shape up for a righty forehand, and that's just how good Dylan is able to manipulate his zone there and put it inside the circle on that flex line. Super good stuff.
Dylan is filthy. I've seen a lot of players try that forehand line, and no one is nearly as good as Dylan is, and it just shows how good his control is and touch, and how much he trusts that zone and what he's throwing.
Got Derek here putting with these Lunas, and he's going to catch that tree. Not a tester, but you'd like to just have a tap in after that. Here's where Dylan landed.
Wow,
pretty routine putt for him.
That's a great 2 there, Dylan. Awesome job. And rocking his Team Tank shirt.
Yeah, looking good. And about to see what Derek's made of on the green.
Good putt.
Connects. I mean, I just love the way it just enters in so flat, right on the pole. Got a good stroke.
Yep. Oh. Nick just opened his hand up just a little bit, came off the pole, cuts out to the side. You are very close. All right, 4 in a row now for Harry Chace.
Yeah, hoping to keep it rolling and just continue that momentum from yesterday. As here we are, hole 7, par 3, 257. There's a couple lines here, but most of them revolve around missing that center tree. 2 people may flex to the left of it or just go hyzer to the right of it. But this hole is heavily protected by trees here, and we'll see what our players can do.
Yeah, this is a hole that I know that there's been a creation of a red hole that a lot of players like more than this one, but for now, this is the hole we're playing here, and like you said, that tree right in the middle, you gotta miss that tree. You connected with it. Do you feel like you threw the shot well?
No, I don't think I did. I'm trying to throw to the right side of that tree and hit a specific gap, and I know I can hit that gap more times than not. So I missed the shot, almost got lucky by missing it, as we see Derek hitting that gap, and unfortunately just not fading in time. Kept it a little too low, but we're going to see Nick hopefully bouncing back after that missed putt, and
oh, yeah.
beauty of a shot there.
Yeah, you never know with a hole like this where you have a tree right in the middle of a fairway, so you aim for that tree. So that's why I was asking whether you felt like you threw it well. This replay of Nick here, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, he goes inside line here and
Oof.
right dances on the wood chips and spins around. But yeah, it's definitely, I was always taught from early on to never aim at a tree and hope to miss it, and I just like to aim at the gaps, and that time was off a bit patient, but I'll trust my throw.
Yep. What is Dylan checking with here for the group?
So he actually had a log and maybe a stick in front of his lie, and he was asking if he could move it. Obviously you can't move a dead object if it's in front of your lie, and he thought you could, so
yep,
he actually ended up marking it, and then you're gonna won't have to deal with that again. But
course maintenance.
Yeah.
Derek, a big jumper. Oh, come on.
Yeah, he wanted that for sure. He hit the line perfect and just didn't get it to stick, but we got Dylan here now, motivated to make this, and right on the pole, doesn't phase him.
Yeah, that's a great par save. I know his upshot left a lot to be desired. You're cleaning up, super easy. That's a good upshot right there. Just don't have to think about the putt. Derek, who's still outside of where Nick's drive landed.
Yep, every time I've watched Derek putt, he's gone through that same routine, cleans it up again, and we just see how close Nick's drive was.
Oh, yeah.
He's not missing that.
He's feeling it. He gave a fist bump. He loves it. This is definitely a good hole to get. Not everyone's going to get it because of how tricky it is, but it's still short, where you should be kind of doing it. So, really fun design there. And that's going to take us to hole number 8. A wild adventure here through the woods. Please break it down, Harry.
Absolutely. We got 315 and plays super far to the right. That basket there is for the red layout. This way that the drone is going is probably not a way that most players are going to go, and there's a more of an inside gap there. But most people are going to be throwing a flick here, as we see Nick trying with that putter analyzer, and yeah, he gets caught up. But you can't really just throw a overstable hyzer flick. Just won't get down there. You have to get something to flip and glide a little bit, and that's why I go to the backhand here, because I just don't have that flip up forehand. This is a Neo Origin, and was able to get it to float and drift, and that is sweet.
You have that just dialed in, because you parked that odd hole 11 at Cogs with that disc, which is a similar bend. Dylan throwing a Firebird here. He goes deep of your fairway, but yeah, your control with that Origin is really nice.
As we see Derek try this line and just catches one of those inside trees. This gap almost seems like a simple forehand chip, but it's just not. And we see Dylan is that hurts to watch, but Dylan is just able to power that like not a lot of people can, and we'll get an upshot here from Derek. Super nice, well done, Derek. Right to the chips. Nick going pretty quick and giving it a run.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Great putt, because that was not a clean lie. He went to his straddle. That was a great 2 there from Dylan. That is a bonus. This hole came in at a 3.11, so it played above par. So that is making up strokes.
For sure. Right on the stripe there from a straddle stance. And trying to keep pace with me now, as looks like I'll be getting to 15 with a make here.
Nice. Nice simple 3 from Derek. Nice cleanup.
Yeah, this course is just, I think, really sets up well for tournament play. Challenges so many different facets of a player's game. As we've been in the woods now for a bunch of holes, and we continue that with a few more, and here's 9, one of them. And yeah, this is new to me. I didn't see this. We have the dual fairway cam here. Shout out to GMT.
Yes.
Haven't been seen before. And yeah, and this breaks it up down better than I ever could. We got a par 4 and really 2 gaps the player can go. One a bit more aggressive than the other. We'll see what our players are going to do here.
I'm excited to see it. I've seen, I'm not going to try to ruin anything for anybody, but I've seen Dylan do this one before. I would love to see that again. I know, you just went for a conservative forehand, which is shocking. What? Harry?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've only really played 3 rounds here, and I'm kind of afraid of doing exactly that. When I practiced the course on Thursday, I couldn't really get that line to work for me, and there's something about this tee pad and a bunch of the tee pads on this course where I just feel like they're maybe a foot short than I'd like, and it's hard to get aggressive when I can't get my full run up in. This gap is tight, as you see. Nick is going to pay the price for trying that way too, but I just feel like I can get my birdie more consistently up top, and we'll see if I can execute on that.
Yeah, I agree that up top fairway is a little bit more forgiving than this one, unless, oh no, Nick was hyped. That was a beautiful shot. He just kind of got a little robbed by the upper foliage. Dylan's second shot here with his zone. Is that in the circle?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, super well done from Dylan. And not to mention the disc I was throwing on this hole last tournament is no longer in my bag. I actually lost it practicing at Cog, so that made the decision a little bit easier, and I have a little flex forehand with my tactic. And
yeah, it's just a great way to show that you can attack this hole so many different ways. Go for a simpler tee shot off the tee, and then getting a little bit more of a further second shot, but you can still score on this hole.
Yeah, absolutely. With where that upshot landed, it doesn't make me regret my decision one bit. As you see Derek, as far as he got down the fairway, unable to get in the circle, and he'll try to save birdie from deep. But that's the way this hole can play. And especially with right now having a 5-stroke lead, I don't really feel like I need to push for an eagle chance. Getting birdies right now has been what I'm trying to do. As Nick almost connects on, a birdie save, and gets an unfortunate roll there.
Yeah, so this hole, it averaged a 3. What?
Yeah, we've seen this a lot on GMT this week, unfortunately. He did hit it quite hard, but bounced right off the pole.
Oh.
And it's just you hate to see it.
Yeah. And you're stuck for your easy birdie. But I was saying this whole average is 3.54. So it was 0.46 under par. It was tied for the second easiest hole to par on the course. Yep. So this is another hole where you really kind of have to 3 this hole. You're losing strokes, half a stroke, by taking that 4.
Yeah, it makes sense. We saw how early Nick got caught up, and he still almost was able to get a birdie. So not going to see too many big numbers here, as that is going to wrap it up for the front 9, brought to us by East Coast Metal Roofing. We got me at -6, Dylan -1, and Derek and Nick
Dylan's at 5.
Dylan at 5, and Derek and Nick at -1. And Hope you guys join us for the back nine. It's quite a different style of golf. It's going to be exciting to watch.
I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to tune in. Make sure you check out Greatest Media Team for the back nine.